Hola, buenas tardes a todos. En unos minutos vamos a empezar. Os voy a repetir el mensaje mientras se nos unen los otros participantes. Hola a todos. Vale, ya creo que podemos empezar. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Buenos días para vosotros. Buenas tardes para nuestras ponentes, porque aquí en Italia son las 7 de la tarde. Y bueno, os voy a introducir ante todo eh, la- el webinar. El webinar y nuestras panelistas, que son la profesora Elisabetta Modena, profesora de nuestra universidad, Universidad IULM, y nuestras dos estudiantes, Cansu y Alice. Muchas gracias, ponentes, para estar aquí con nosotros. Yo soy Ginebra y voy a moderar la sesión. La sesión va a ser en inglés. Entonces, pero bueno, yo voy a moderar con la profesora y con las estudiantes Alice y Kansu. Entonces, si tienen unas preguntas en español y las quieren dejar en el chat, sin problemas. Español, inglés, italiano también, todo está bien. Y bueno, ahora voy a dejar la palabra a las ponentes. I'm going to switch in English to welcome them. Thank you so much to our panelists to join us this evening. And well, I'm going to be following you in the background. So whatever you need, I'm here. I'm going to mute myself and leave the floor to Professor Elisabetta. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, and I'm very happy to be here and to present this seminar tonight together with Alice and Kansu, which are students from our course, and I'm very happy that they are together with us to present you some insights of our course. Actually, the course I'm talking about and I'm teaching at the IULM University in Milan is Fashion and Luxury Events. That is a course within the fashion communication and luxury strategies master degree. And actually, the main objective of our course is to offer an advanced course to enter the world of fashion and luxury, as you can read it, with full awareness of the challenges of what are now fully global industries. And so the course aims to train fashion and luxury communication professionals, managers, and business consultants, so that they are capable of facing the challenges of contemporary communication, contextualizing them, and transferring also products and experience to the public with a new language. So they will also be capable of taking on roles of responsibility with established or startup companies, and of seizing all the opportunities of complex system of fashion and luxury. And as you can imagine, we are in Milan, so fashion and luxury are strategic fields, and we can also, I mean, give expertise related to our context. In particular, today I decided to bring you, to let you enter in our classes, as you were present in our classes. And this year I gave a course that is fashion and luxury events, in particular dedicated to the fashion world and the transformation of the fashion show histories. The fashion show actually serves as a dynamic intersection of fashion, art, theater, and cinema, where the craft design come to life through performance, transforming the runway into a real stage that captivates the audience. So I decided to talk about the fashion show as a work of art, and I'm trying to explain you why. The idea is that on the fashion show, each garment on the runway represents not just clothing, but a narrative that engages viewers emotionally and intellectually, evoking the artistry of theatrical performance while drawing parallels to the cinematic experience of unfolding drama and creativity. So from this perspective, fashion has a power that transcends, go beyond mere clothing. It becomes a sort of a tool for communicating values, identities, and collective trends. And we try to talk about this in our class. The runway is not just a showcase for new pieces, but also a stage on which stories are told, unfold, social themes are explored, and cultural norms are also redefined. So through fashion, political positions can be expressed, conventions challenged, and the collective imagination can be moved and influenced. So the course in particular, and is a time for you to enter in our class, examine key moments that have shaped the history of fashion presentation from the second half of the 19th century until today. So through case study analysis, the course explores events that have marked turning points and the distinctive themes, topics that characterize them as specific formats. So the lecture during the course provide also a broader perspective, contextualizing fashion and luxury events within the history of exhibition display. And the course addresses four main themes. The first is the one that you see here, the historical development of these events. Then we talk about the performative nature of fashion show and the narrative dimension and the concept of immersivity, with particular attention to the role of digital technologies and digital communication. So fashion show began in the mid-19th century as private, intimate presentation in couture salon. For example, Charles Frederick Ward is considered a pioneer in fashion history for his innovative approach to presenting clothing. He was the first to showcase his design on living models, whom he called house mannequin, and invited clients to his studio for intimate presentation. But also his wife, Marie Vernet, played a key role in this process, not only modeling his creation, but also attending high-profile social events. Another significant figure in early fashion history is Lady Duff Gordon, known as Lucille, because she introduced theatrical elements and storytelling into fashion presentation, shaping what we now recognize as modern fashion shows. So with the help of her novelist sister, she also crafted small narratives to accompany her shows, adding depth and context to the collection. Also, Paul Poiret left his mark as a fashion innovator, particularly by being the first designer to use films as a means of promoting his work. So his forward-thinking approach set the stage for the multimedia fashion presentation that we see today. So we use history of the fashion show also to talk about what is actually happening today. During the course, we focus, as you understand, on the history of fashion show, but we also highlight individual designers, men and women, who have played a role in shaping the industry. For example, Paris-based designer Elsa Schiaparelli shifted focus from the individual model to the entire spectacle of the fashion show. And she was known for her bold and eccentric designs, her collaboration with artists, and she was the first designer to introduce themed collection. There are also some key historical elements and events that remain highly relevant today, such as the case of the Théâtre de la Mode, which regained prominence during the COVID era thanks to references by contemporary designers. So the Théâtre de la Mode was an influential exhibition of miniature fashion mannequin, like dolls, organized after the Second World War in Paris, because French industry was struggling due to many problems of getting resources, etc., as you can imagine. And in response, leading Parisian couturiers and designers, including Christian Dior and Pierre Balmain, created an exhibition to showcase their latest design using small-scale mannequin instead of live models. And this is very interesting because today, and some years ago, because of the COVID pandemic, some fashion designers, for example, Jeremy Scott for Moschino, decided to get inspiration from the Théâtre de la Mode. And they decide to take this concept and create a fashion show using dolls instead of live models. So quoting this very important and relevant event in fashion history. And this is why we also study the history of fashion show. We study also key moments in history to investigate the role of models, not only as figures of beauty, but also as key players in shaping the visual and cultural narrative of fashion. So there are some relevant figures that we analyzed during the class. For example, you see here Twiggy, because she was a professional photographic model when they began to gain prominence. And in the 60s, the role of the models became more and more relevant. Now I have a problem with the sharing. Okay, sorry. And so this history culminates in a moment that we recognize as a crossover between fashion and pop culture. And you see here an image from Gianni Versace Fall-Winter 1991 fashion show that marked a moment very important in fashion history, blending pop culture, music, and high fashion in an innovative way. So here you see the iconic supermodels, Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, and Linda Evangelista on the runway, culminating in a legendary lip-sync performance to George Michael's Freedom, the song featuring the music video they had starred in. So our history culminates in what we now recognize as something that is part of the contemporary fashion world. But then we have to think that fashion show can be considered also as a performative event because they engage with audience and they happen in real time. So during the course, we analyze some very important fashion designer and fashion show. Here you see Alexander McQueen, who is considered one of the most important designer for this kind of performative events, because he often combines storytelling and deep cultural references with dramatic and sometimes controversial elements, such as music, scenarios, props. His performances are also considered to be boundary-pushing, as he often explores themes like death, sexuality, and history, which often challenge the norm of society. So fashion is relevant for society and for culture and also for political reasons. So it's not just about clothes. Here you see the very famous Spring-Summer 1999 show by Alexander McQueen, titled 13, that is widely remembered as one of the most iconic examples of action fashion. It was a 13 runway presentation and focused on the arts and craft movement, exploring ideas around human craftsmanship and the relation between people and machine, blending technology, fabric, and also the human body. And the event reached its peak with an unforgettable ending. In this striking moment, model Cheryl Arlon, wearing a simple yet voluminous white dress held together by a leather belt, stood on a rotating platform. As she spun, much like a dancer in a music box, two robotic arms sprayed air with black and yellow paint. The dramatic ending was more than just a fashion show. It was a performance art piece that blurred the lines between fashion and art. And so the reason why I'm talking about the fashion show as an artwork. Actually, McQueen was inspired by the artist's performance and the installation that you see here, I Moon by Rebecca Orr, featuring two mechanical riffles that shoot color paint. So fashion and art are strictly linked and intertwined, and we try to demonstrate it during our course, talking about designers who work, for example, on art. Think, for example, to Victor and Rolf, a Dutch fashion duo known for their avant-garde conceptual approach to fashion. Since the 90s, they challenged conventional fashion with dramatic theatric runways show, creating pieces that are both wearable and sculptural. So we can talk about wearable art in this case. Their work often explores themes of identity, fantasy, and the transformation of the body, making them key figures in the fashion world. Let's talk about narrative, because narrative and storytelling in fashion shows have become essential tools for creating emotional connection between the audience and the collections, turning each garment into a story or a character. Designers often draw inspiration from real or fictional events to craft entire narratives, bringing to life unique characters and worlds that elevate the fashion show into a narrative experience. And we surely talk about Galliano, who proved himself as a great designer, but above all, he tells story through his fashion runway and fashion and his clothes. So we talk a lot about the last Maison Margiela artisanal connection 2024, because it was a masterclass in storytelling, where the clothes themselves become a medium to convey a narrative deeply connected, in this case, to the essence of the Parisian experience. So, through creative director John Galliano's vision, the collection takes us on a sort of journey beneath the surface of Paris, evoking the atmosphere of a walk through the hidden parts of the city. And we saw the entire runway, and then we discussed in class about this extraordinary experience, trying to understand the power of this presentation and of this runway. We talk a lot about immersivity because today, you know, everything has to be immersive. We talk about immersive experience, immersive exhibition, immersive installation. Everything must be immersive. But immersivity, yes, is a noticeable trend which has affected the communication of most public and private cultural institutions, describing the production as immersive. But actually, what does immersivity really mean? It's not just about sensory engagement like sight, sound, and sometimes even texture and scent, but above all about designing and building, constructing a new, different context that transport the viewer. So it's something that is typical of fashion, and in particular of fashion show, and also Kansu and Alice will talk about this particular idea of being immersed in an event in some minutes while they will describe you the particular experience of a fashion show by Dolce Gabbana. So the location is relevant for fashion show, a crucial role in shaping the overall experience, serving as more than just a backdrop. Because the location helps convey the designer vision, setting the mood of the collection and the collection themes. So iconic venues like historic buildings, outdoor landscape, or industrial spaces can create a dramatic atmosphere, enhancing the narrative of the show. Additionally, location impacts the audience perception, making the event memorable and unique. So the right setting transforms a runway into an immersive experience, blending fashion with architecture, culture, and emotion, or in this case, you are seeing nature. So the collection, as you can read here, is for sale, but the runway is not. So the runway show, much like a performance or an artistic happening, is something entirely different because it's an ephemeral experience crafted to evoke emotions, tells a story, and create a lasting impression in the minds of those who witness it. So unlike the garments that can be purchased and worn, the show itself exists only in the moment, a unique moment of design, music, movement, and atmosphere. It's a spectacle meant to be felt and remembered, not owned or replicated. It's unique. As such, it becomes an event reserved for a select few, a privilege accessible only to those present in this time. In this sense, the show itself transformed into a luxury product. So the show is about luxury, an exclusive and intangible symbol of prestige. For this reason, a fashion show aims to immerse the public into a unique experience. But actually, in the last years, we saw also something different, because when fashion shows moved online, they became more like mini films or digital projects, and the shift brought both challenges and opportunities. Designers, in particular during COVID and after COVID, had to reimagine their storytelling, using video, sounds, and editing techniques to create a compelling narrative. Every shot and angle had to be precisely planned to highlight textures, movement, and craftsmanship, compensating for the lack of physical presence. These digital formats often allowed for more creativity, as designers could incorporate also surreal elements, unconventional location, or cinematic storytelling that would be impossible in a traditional runway setting. However, this new format also altered the audience role. Instead of an exclusive in-person event for a select few, digital show could reach a global audience, democratizing access to high fashion. Viewers could watch from their homes, and collection could be revisited anytime, offering broadened exposure and extending relevance. Yet, this came at the cost of the exclusivity and intimate connection that live events offer. Ultimately, the shift to online fashion shows transformed them into multimedia experience, blending fashion, film, and art. While this adaptation showcased the industry resilience and innovation, for example, during COVID pandemic, it also underscored the irreplaceable value of live experience in connected with audience on a deeper emotional level. So the creative solutions were really many and several different from each other. And during the 2020s, a plurality of solutions was gradually experienced, which necessarily expanded the range of tools that can be used to show a collection to all the actors involved. Today, the panorama is much more varied, and then trends include not only live fashion show and lookbooks, but also fashion films, videos in the forms of fashion shows, digital catwalks, and also 3D and augmented reality or virtual reality solutions. In this respect, we talked about also the potential of digital, for example, for virtual influencers. And in this case, you see here Cami, who is a virtual influencer created in partnership with the Down Syndrome International, DSA. So over 100 women with Down syndrome submitted photos and video of themselves for the project, and they created together this virtual influencer who talk about fashion and also the problem related to inclusivity. So we tried also to understand the current trend of fashion, also including digital new solutions, but also themes related to inclusivity and communication in the contemporary time. During our lessons, we had also a workshop inside the class, and here you see a picture of our class. And in our course, students participate in this workshop that involves conducting in-depth historical research on past fashion shows. And based on their findings, students then were challenged to develop and present their own creative reinterpretation and reimagination of key aspects such as concept, staging, and design of a fashion show. So they try also themselves to imagine something new and to propose to the professor, but also to their peers, their ideas. Then we had guest lectures and also exhibition visit in Milan. And we had, for example, Anna Franceschini, who is a very important Italian artist, which is actually working with Gucci. And so she presented us her experience coming in our class and introducing her work to us, and also talking about the great experience with Gucci, with Kiwi, and other designers famous all over the world. We had some visit, the one, for example, at the Armani Silos in Milan, that actually is the museum of Armani. So really very important and relevant fashion designer all over the world. So we visited the museum together with the students. And then we also presented the work of Monica Bolzoni, who actually is a very interesting designer working in Italy and abroad. And she had her own exhibition at the Triennale in Milano, with a relevant museum all over the world for architecture, design, visual arts, and also fashion. So we tried during our course also to get out of the class of the university and to get in touch with exhibition, with fashion displays, and also with professionals that are actually working in the fashion industries and luxury industries. So now I'm leaving the floor to the students. Kansu Elvas and Alice Panoli, because they are presenting you a very special events that they had the occasion to attend, the fashion show of Dolce Gabbana. So please, I leave you the floor and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for the opportunity, and good evening to everyone. And yes, me and Kansu had this great opportunity to participate to the Dolce Gabbana menswear fashion show this February in Milan. And this show was called Paparazzi, and later you will understand why it is called this way. And I will start telling you some insights, some concrete insights about the fashion show, and then my colleague is gonna tell you some of the feelings and thoughts we had collected after the shows, just to give you the idea of why and what does it mean to participate in a performative fashion show. And yes, so first of all, for coming into a fashion show, you need an invitation. And also this was very special. I mean, there is my name inside this invitation, as you can see, and it's amazing. I keep it in my library like a reward. So you need an invitation, and please, next slide. As soon as you arrive in the building, you have to show your ID, your identity, since you need to be in the list to participate to a fashion show, and this gives you, for the first time, a real sense of exclusivity. So, next slide. And as soon as you enter in the building, photographers start taking photos of you as you are a VIP, and this is also great because you start feeling part of a community, a selected community. And the building was divided in the entrance where people could socialize while photographers were taking photos of us. And then, okay, next slide. Through some stairs, you enter in a very dark cube, which is the actual runway. And on the left, you find all the photographers, and on the right, the space for the performance. And so the place was very dark, and you could see really well the division of the seats, because the only one that were lighted up were the one for the VIPs, and all the rest of the people were completely dark. And so you can see the difference, you can feel the difference from them to us. And okay, next slide. The show, we can say it was a performance because there were models in the role of paparazzi, all dressed in suits, that starting photographers, all the real models who were walking the runway. And so it was a real performance because it started with the beginning of the show, and it ended with the ending of the show. And now I give the seat to my colleague, so she can share how we felt being there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alicia. I think Alicia did a great job of explaining the setup of the show, and I will try to explain how it felt to us as a first-time fashion show goers. So when we first attended the show, we felt like it was more than just watching a runway. It was about stepping into the world of high fashion and experiencing what it truly means to part of the fashion community. Because as Alicia mentioned, when you enter, you see the VIPs, you see the photographers, you see the fashion insiders, the people from the magazines, and like everyone was there mingling, everyone was there socializing, and everyone was giving this feeling of that they belonged, that they were a community, and to be able to see that firsthand was it was great for us, I think. And the fashion show itself was very exciting because it was an immersive show. The music was very loud, the lights were very bright, there were flashing lights everywhere, and it felt very fast, even though I think it lasted about 30 minutes, but to us it felt very fast, like it went by very quickly. And we were very, like, when we first entered and sit down, we were very excited, and we had time to, because there was a delay, we had time to observe everyone, and we realized that people were in different groups, as Alicia mentioned, like VIPs were there and press were there, other guests were there, buyers were in a specific place. So it was really nice to observe that. And as the show went on, the anticipation built up naturally, and we felt even more excited, I think. And by the end of the show, maybe we can continue with the slide. Oh, this is us, sorry. Yeah. By the end of the show, we were so excited and so happy, as you can see. And we felt like we belonged in this community, and we felt like our passion for fashion has intensified, I guess. And this experience solidified the idea that fashion is more than just clothes. It's a culture, it's a language, it's an atmosphere that has the power to transport you, even if it's just for a moment. So the storytelling and the emotion behind the show was very unforgettable. So thank you for our professor who gave us this experience, and thank you for Alicia for being there with me to experience this. And thank you for listening to all of you.
Yes,
and if you have any questions, I think maybe we can take questions. I don't know. Professor Modena, is it okay? Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for all of our panelists. And girls, if you have a spare ticket, please count me in next time, because it's super, like, it sounds super interesting. And
yes.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, and thank you, Professor, for the very interesting insights. Now, bueno, voy a hablar en español para nuestro público. Si tienen unas preguntas para nuestras panelistas, por favor, las pueden escribir en la chat y nada, os voy a leerlas para las ponentes, por si las tienen, por supuesto.
Creo que por el momento no tenemos preguntas, Ginebra.
Vale. Vale, si no tenemos ninguna pregunta, os voy a compartir Ah, vale, tenemos una. Sí. 2
Ok,
minutos.
bueno, están formulando
Vale.
la pregunta.
Sí, sí, sí. Perfecto.
Mientras David formula su pregunta, Ginebra, no sé si podemos a lo mejor ir avanzando en justamente en platicarles un poco más lo que es IULM. Ya conocimos el lado de moda de IULM, pero bueno, a ver que tú nos cuentes un poco más de esta universidad.
Claro, aunque ahora veo la pregunta, la puedo hacer a las ponentes, así que si quieren, luego nos pueden saludar, no sé, porque ya está en el chat. Y I think it's for the girls, right? It's for the students, because it says, did you have time to like meet the like someone from the show? And I'm translating it. Just 1 second. And also how fashion shows are like still valuable for the like for the brands. Like, is it useful for the brands to then sell their clothes? I think it's for both, like for the professor and for Kansu and Alicia.
Me and Kansu honestly really talked about this because we were very shy. Like we were in five, and the two of us we were very shy. So we didn't speak with anyone because we felt maybe it was too much for us. Like it was a dream really coming true. And so we didn't have the chance to speak to anyone, but if we were maybe less shy, you can have the chance because people are there smiling, they're socializing a lot, and once you are in, you are one of them. And
yes,
so
once you were inside, it felt welcoming, but from the outside, I wouldn't say no. I would say no, no.
Yes.
And I think fashion shows are still important because, as I explained, it creates this community, it creates this story for the brand, and I think it enables it enables people who are passionate about fashion to have a connection with the brand in a sense. So it's not for everyone, but for people who are very invested in fashion, I think it's still very important to have those shows and have those space to see everything. And also I think it's also important because for like an immersive fashion show can touch to many people. Like it doesn't need to be for one specific group of people. It can be interested for people even who are not interested in fashion, if the show manages to combine art, for example, like Professor Modena explained. Some like most designers take inspiration from artists, take inspiration from movies, take inspiration from everything. So if you're interested in that, it can be very exciting to see the show.
I think there are other questions.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yes, there are other questions for you girls. I'm gonna read that out loud for all the like people that are present. So it's for you girls. What was surprising, the surprising factor of the show, and what did you feel watching a real show after looking only pictures of them?
For me, the difference it's loud in the sense that when you are there, you can have the feeling like to taste the realm of the clothes, and because you can see them and you can see the texture and the real color, the shapes, how they move on a body, which is very important for clothes. And it's for me the surprising thing about the show is all the process. It was that I really realized what being immersed in a fashion show means, because as soon as you arrive there and you enter in there, you become part of another world, of the world of a fashion show, which is very special. And once you get out, you return to your world, which was like very bad for us, but
less glamorous. Yeah, less glamorous for sure.
All right, and we have one last question. As you saw, what would be those tips to follow to achieve a successful runway? So what is the goal to achieve a successful runway? For what you saw.
Finding something to involve the public and all the
create attention.
Yeah, like in this show, Dolce Gabbana did, giving us a performance of the paparazzi, and also finding a topic or a theme to follow, and to create a world in all the sense. So starting from the scene, from the performance, etc. So finding something special to give the public, and to keep the public on attention to the show.
Yeah, but for people who are attending, I think exclusivity is also very important.
Yeah,
the guests, the people who attend the show, like the guest list, I think is very important. And also when they enter the photo, they're getting photographed in this very nice environment, which was, I think, also very important for the brand to have those pictures to publish later on in their social medias, or in their, even maybe, I don't know, in their campaigns. So I think it's important for both the guests and the public. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. At the moment, we don't have any more questions, but you were amazing. Thank you so much. It was very, very interesting to actually listen to your first-hand experience, and I think it's very valuable that you were able to share everything with our potential students that we hope we can meet in Milan very soon. And thank you as well, of course, to the professor. Yeah, we do have another question. Where notes? No, sorry. Yeah. I don't know if you... Oh. Okay. So I think we are... Okay, notes from the show. I don't know if you have you wrote down something while you were there. Maybe that is the question.
Oh no, we mostly took videos and photos to remember the show, the feeling of the show. We were mostly invested in having the experience, I think.
All right. Well, I think that we are running out of time, so I will greet you and thank you once again. So I'm now for our potential students, I will share my screen and give them a couple of insights about the university. So I'm going to switch to Spanish once again. Now voy a compartir mi pantalla y os voy a dar una información sobre la universidad. A ver si se ve bien. ¿Se ve todo?
Sí.
Perfecto. Bueno, voy a ser muy rápida. Ante todo, nosotros estamos en Milán, como las ponentes han subrayado, y somos una universidad de comunicación, marketing, moda y artes. Ya hemos visto en detalle el curso, el máster de 2 años de moda, Fashion Communication and Luxury Strategies, pero la universidad ofrece 4 másteres de 2 años totalmente en inglés, que son básicamente pensados tanto por los estudiantes italianos como mayormente por los estudiantes internacionales. Como pueden ver, todo está conectado con la comunicación y el marketing. Tenemos estos 4 cursos: Strategic Communication, comunicación estratégica, que se centra un poco más en todo lo que concierne la comunicación dentro de una empresa. Hospitality and Tourism Management, donde el focus es el turismo, o sea, todo lo que está alrededor del turismo, siempre conectado con el marketing y la comunicación. Esto se explica solo: Marketing, Consumer Behavior and Communication. y, como ya vimos, Fashion Communication and Luxury Strategies, donde el focus principal está en la moda. Sí que tenemos también cursos en italiano, que son estos de aquí, siempre conectados con los idiomas, el arte, la moda, y son estos de aquí: traducción, televisión, marketing, inteligencia artificial y arte, valorización y mercado. También tenemos másteres profesionales que duran solamente un año. La diferencia más grande es que, bueno, ante todo la duración, lo que vimos antes son de 2 años, mientras que estos son solamente un año y se dividen como 6 meses de clase y 6 meses de como internship. Mientras que los másteres de 2 años sí que hay un internship obligatorio, pero generalmente se hace en el segundo semestre del segundo año. O sea, el focus en los másteres de 2 años es un poquito más académico. Y tenemos más de 20 másteres de un año, pero os diría que los en inglés son estos de aquí: comunicación para las relaciones internacionales, turismo internacional y hotelería, marketing internacional y museología. Que sí que hay otros que tienen unos exámenes en inglés, pero son como mixtos, o sea, se tiene que hablar tanto el italiano como el inglés. Ahora, por si están interesados en nuestra universidad, estos que pueden ver aquí son algunos de los requisitos de admisión. Generalmente, bueno, seguramente sí que para apuntarse a un máster se necesita una titulación de grado, tienen que terminar la carrera, y sí que se pueden postular mientras que están acabando, pero no saliendo directamente del colegio. Sí que necesitamos de un título de grado de carrera. Generalmente sería bueno que el título de grado sea relacionado con el máster elegido, pero mis compañeras de la secretaría siempre analizan cada una de las candidaturas que recibimos, así que aunque no sea tan cercana la especialización de vuestra carrera, no os preocupéis, sí que nos pueden enviar todos los documentos y nosotras vamos a analizarlos y a proceder con, bueno, vamos a daros un feedback cuanto antes. Es muy apreciado tener un buen conocimiento de los temas relacionados con el máster elegido. Por ejemplo, por el máster de Fashion, sí que si se tiene un buen conocimiento del mundo de la moda es un plus. La motivación, que se puede expresar escribiendo una carta motivacional, que es uno de los documentos que requerimos, que necesitamos. Y generalmente nosotros pedimos a los estudiantes que expliquen por qué le gustaría apuntarse al grado, o sea, por qué aquel tema específico, por qué un máster de 2 años, por qué aquí en Italia y por qué aquí en nuestra universidad, para que podamos tener como una visión un poquito más amplia de cuál es vuestro sueño, vuestra idea de la universidad. Luego, como estaba diciendo, siendo los másteres algunos en inglés, algunos en italiano, sí que necesitamos un nivel B2 o C1, dependiendo del curso de italiano o de inglés. Por supuesto, si el curso es en inglés, no necesitamos ningún nivel previo de italiano, mientras que si se van a apuntar a un curso en italiano, sí que necesitamos de un nivel B2, por lo menos B2, porque todo es en italiano. Diferente es el tema de los cursos en inglés, como Fashion Communication. No es necesario hablar italiano y tener una certificación, pero sí que van a estudiar italiano durante los 2 años, porque nuestro objetivo es ayudaros a obtener por lo menos un B1 o B2 antes del final de la carrera, del grado. ¿Dónde se pueden presentar los documentos? Aquí. Esta de aquí es nuestra plataforma dedicada a los estudiantes internacionales, apply.iulm.it. Ahora os voy. De momento las aplicaciones están abiertas por el año que viene, o sea, 2025-2026. Para lo que concierne los másteres de un año, solo tenemos una admisión, o sea, el curso empieza a finales de septiembre generalmente y acaba en agosto, después de la última sesión de exámenes. para el año que viene empieza en diciembre de 2025 y va a acabar en agosto de 2026, el año que viene. Por los másteres de 2 años se pueden tener 2 convocatorias, dependiendo del máster, que son una en invierno, generalmente en febrero, y otra en septiembre. Ahora vamos a ver las tasas de matriculación. IULM es una institución privada, entonces todos los estudiantes sí que pagan unas tasas de matriculación, pero es no profit, que significa que todo lo que la universidad recibe como que lo pone dentro de todos los servicios que la universidad ofrece a los estudiantes. Por ejemplo, laboratorios, por ejemplo, todas las estructuras de la universidad, porque tenemos diferentes edificios. Entonces, es una no profit, o sea. Por los estudiantes internacionales, la tasa de matriculación es 9.950 euros cada año, dividida en 3 plazos. O sea que no se tiene que pagar todo junto. El primer plazo es al momento de la matriculación, o sea, se pasa el test de admisión porque para todas nuestras carreras sí que los estudiantes tienen que pasar un test de admisión como un examen para comprobar sus competencias y después de aprobar el examen, el estudiante se puede matricular y este sería el primer plazo. Luego el segundo plazo generalmente es en diciembre y el tercer plazo en marzo. Para lo que concierne los másteres de un año es un poquito diferente porque hay diferentes tasas y se dividen en estudiantes de la Unión Europea y estudiantes que están afuera de la Unión Europea. Ya vamos acabando. Ayudas y becas. Por supuesto, sí que se pueden postular por becas. Tenemos 2 tipologías de becas. Una sería como una exención de la tasa de matriculación en el primer año. Se puede obtener el 50% de exención de la tasa de matriculación simplemente basándose sobre la nota final del grado. O sea, después que se termina la carrera, vamos a ver la nota final y vamos a como convertirla dentro del sistema italiano. Parece un poquito complicado, pero si están interesados, nos pueden conectar con nosotros y lo vamos a explicar. Es bastante simple, la verdad. Por algunos másteres se puede alcanzar hasta el 100% de reducción. Por ejemplo, los másteres de Hospitality and Tourism Management y también Fashion Communication and Luxury Strategies funciona de la misma manera, o sea que se ve la nota final del grado y se convierte en la nota italiana. Tenemos otra beca, que es la beca una beca regional, que es un poquito diferente porque se basa tanto en la nota final, o sea, requisitos de mérito, como en la situación familiar de los ingresos, de la familia del estudiante. Se hace como un promedio y se publica una graduación. Las 2 becas sí que se pueden combinar. O sea, se puede aplicar tanto en la tasa, en la beca del 50%, 100%, o la tasa regional. Ahora, este es el alojamiento, unas palabras muy rápidas. Tenemos 2 residencias en el campus y todos los estudiantes se pueden postular. Publicamos una convocatoria cada año alrededor de mayo y, ofrecemos una habitación doble con baño privado y cocina en común con el piso generalmente y el precio sería 500 euros al mes. Muchas gracias por su atención. Ahora, no sé si tengan preguntas. Voy a acabar a ver si funciona.
Me parece que ya no tenemos preguntas, Ginebra.
Hola a todos, no sé si
¿Ya?
se me ve, me
Ya te
escucha.
escuchamos. Ya te escuchamos y ya te vemos. Tuvimos ahí una falla de audio 1 minuto, pero ya te escuchamos y ya te vemos.
Vale, perfecto. Y no sé dónde se interrumpió la presentación, la verdad,
No,
porque yo...
se interrumpió justo cuando estabas preguntando si había dudas. Estaba yo
Ah,
al
vale,
pendiente. Al parecer no hay ninguna duda. Perdón, chicos, por
vale,
la
vale,
pausa.
perfecto. Perfecto, perfecto, porque no había entendido si algo, porque me decía como something went wrong. Vale, perfecto. Entonces, ya la vieron toda la presentación. Por si tengan dudas, por favor, estoy aquí para vosotros y voy también, a ver si logro, voy a escribir en la chat nuestro correo, que sería este de aquí, admission@iulm.it. A ver. Vale, admission@iulm.it. Por si tienen algunas dudas en estos días próximamente, no duden en contactarnos porque estamos aquí. Y quiero subrayar otra vez que las aplicaciones para nuestros másteres están abiertas y van a cerrar alrededor de mayo. Entonces, tenemos unos 2 meses para seguir con las aplicaciones y nada, por todas las dudas y las preguntas estamos aquí. Y otra vez, si no tenemos otras preguntas, podemos, creo, interrumpir la sesión y simplemente quiero dar las gracias otra vez a la profesora aquí conectada y a todos vosotros para seguir nuestra sesión. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Ginebra. Muchas gracias, Elisabetta.
Bye
Muchas
bye. Thank
gracias a
you.
todos los que nos acompañaron.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Luego. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Luego.
Thank you, professors, once again. Thank you.